This video is by Tina Duckett at Wrexham Hypnotherapy. Hi, I'm Tina Duckett, a former mental health nurse with over 20 years in the NHS, and now a solution-focused hypnotherapist. Today I want to talk about something close to my heart, something that's been missing from mental health nursing for far too long. When I began training as a mental health nurse back in 1999, I expected to learn about the brain, the very organ at the heart of mental health. But I was surprised, and honestly quite disappointed, to find that our education focused mostly on managing symptoms and administering medication. The brain? Barely mentioned. My classmates and I raised concerns, hoping things would change. But decades later, that same gap still exists. I've seen the consequences of this gap firsthand. Without knowledge of neuroscience, without understanding how the brain works and heals, nurses are left without vital tools. In an overstretched system, that missing knowledge limits not only patient care, but also our own professional resilience. Let me put it this way. If I'm driving a car, I trust the mechanic understands engines. So why are we caring for people with brain-based conditions without being taught how the brain works? We must understand the brain. One of the most empowering concepts in neuroscience is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt, rewire, and heal. This changes everything. When we understand neuroplasticity, we stop seeing mental illness as something fixed. Instead, we see possibilities. We see recovery, and we begin to use tools that support real, lasting change. The brain is not hardwired, it is soft-wired by experience. Norman Doidge. Here's what that means in practice. Synaptic plasticity. Our neural connections change with experience. Therapy and lifestyle changes can literally reshape the brain. Neurogenesis. New neurons can grow, especially in areas like the hippocampus, crucial for memory and emotion. Structural remodeling. The brain physically changes in response to healing interventions. This is no longer just theory. This is the biology of hope. Neuroscience gives us a framework for understanding mental illness. In depression, slowed neurogenesis makes it harder to escape negative thought loops. In post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety, an overactive amygdala keeps people trapped in survival mode. In psychosis, disrupted neural growth affects memory and perception. In obsessional-compulsive disorder, rigid neural loops create compulsive behaviors that can be gently rewired with the right support. When we understand the brain, our interventions go deeper. They stop being surface level and start targeting the actual mechanisms of illness and recovery. Now here's the problem. While NHS nurses do incredible work under pressure, neuroscience-based approaches, like trauma-informed therapy and brain-based education, are becoming more common in private care. That means if you can pay, you get more up-to-date, hopeful, personalized treatment. But neuroscience-informed care should never be a privilege. It should be standard. Before I retired from the NHS, I worked with a woman facing severe depression and suicidal thoughts. Medication helped stabilize her, but it wasn't enough. What made the real difference were brain-based strategies. We looked at serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, and how to nurture them through movement, connection, and small wins. She learned about the reticular activating system, helping her reframe negative thoughts. We used simple tools like breathing exercises and emotional freedom techniques to calm her stress response. Over time, she rebuilt her life, leaving a toxic job, reducing her medication, and rediscovering hope. That transformation was only possible because of neuroscience. Without it, she might still be stuck in hopelessness. This knowledge isn't just for patients. It protects nurses too. Understanding how chronic stress and emotional labor affect the brain helps nurses guard against burnout, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. It gives us tools for self-regulation, self-compassion, and emotional resilience in one of the most demanding professions out there. It's time to bring the brain into mental health nursing. We need training that includes neuroscience and neuroplasticity, not as an optional extra, but as core knowledge. When we understand how the brain works, we can deliver more effective, personalized care, reduce stigma by explaining the biological basis of mental illness, empower both patients and ourselves with real, grounded hope. We can't afford to treat the brain like an optional module anymore. Mental health nurses aren't just giving medication or observing behavior. We're supporting healing in the most adaptable, extraordinary organ in the body. Let's give mental health nursing what it has always needed: a brain. Thank you for watching. If this message resonates with you, please like, comment, and share. For more brain-based approaches to recovery, subscribe to the channel. Wrexham Hypnotherapy.